Gentlemen, ladies, and anyone in between, I welcome you all, and today we'll be talking about some nice things that turn dark things into bright things. Now, it's with all that being said, I thank each and every one of you guys for showing up. I know you guys are used to me tearing apart fishing reels and going over all the internals and doing comparisons and all that kind of good stuff. But videos like this help keep the lights on. So, if you're going to buy any of these lights, hit that link down below, take you to their website. They have a crazy Black Friday sale, and yeah, they pay me a 10% commission for every sale made through those links. So if you're going to buy a light, hit the link. I get 10%, and I thank you all for joining me. So let's go ahead, without wasting anybody's time any further, let's go ahead and get started. These are the lights that they sent me this go around. These 5 here. We got the 2 i5 EOS. Got the little tiny Keychain Light, which I've been using well before Olight's been sending me stuff. They sent me this Warrior Mini, which this thing is impressive. And the new version of their Perrin, the bigger and badder version of it, which, as far as headlights are concerned, I need something that has a night-preserving red light, so I'm not going to be using this at night as a headlamp. But when I used to have an audio-video business, and I used to be crawling around racks and doing all sorts of intricate wiring and all that kind of stuff, magnetic lights did exist, but they were crap. I would have loved to have this, or this little guy here, the Perrin Mini, back when I was doing low voltage work and all that kind of stuff. Just magnetic, stick it to the rack, and you're good to go. So, starting with the i5 EOS. They come with a AA alkaline. I go with the Dilly Pow lithium rechargeables on Amazon. It's $20 for a 4-pack, $23 with a 4-pack and a charger. They don't charge well in my 18650 and my other quality lithium battery chargers for some odd reason. So the $24 one or $20, whatever it is, that comes with the charger, just get that one if you want. High capacity, a little bit bump in voltage. Whether that translates into brightness, I couldn't really tell. I don't think it was any brighter than using the alkalines. But I hate wasting batteries, and the nickel metal batteries that I've had for years, they just, after a certain amount of recharges, they're just done. So I moved on to AA lithiums. And this is a simple light. Tail switch only, 2-stage, low, and high. Very compact, very lightweight. This is the kind of light that you keep in your purse, you keep on your body, you're going out to the recycling, something like that. It's carried along with you. Very simple, very functional, and it's not going to accidentally go off in your pocket. Now this thing here, this is a little bit different. It's a 365 nanometer UV light. Now I use UV lights all the time for curing UV resin, and this does an excellent job. Let me just grab something to show you. Yeah, here we go. Here's a camera battery. Let's ruin this. Put a little blob there. Now this is a non-filtered UV light, so it does emit. There's a little poof of smoke that comes off of that. That tells you it's cured or curing. Give it another couple seconds. You can see it has that little green tone. It will light stuff up, so you can actually see what you're aiming at. The non-filtered ones just emit a faint glow. But what's cool, this is a soft plastic I poured the other day, and I used some glowing pigment, and you can see how bright green it is. It's throwing off my camera. That's how much it reacts with the UV light. But if you ever want to recharge or charge anything that glows in the dark, this is the light to use. And it's probably not going to show up on camera, but it is insanely bright how bright this thing glows. It's almost like it's almost glows as bright as a glow stick. I'm not even kidding. So you can use this for that. I don't hunt scorpions. I'm in New Jersey. That's not my my bag. But you can see that's cured hard. Moving along, these little Keychain Lights, as I mentioned before, I've been using before. Olight's been sending me stuff. I think it's the best Keychain Light you can get. USB rechargeable, micro USB, and it's plenty bright. It doesn't take up or clog too much room on your keychain. 2-stage, bright and glow. It's a no-brainer. One of the best in the business in terms of a little portable keychain light's concerned. They're always good to have. You drop something in your car, yeah, I don't have to explain that stuff to you. You guys know the drill. You guys know when you need a light. You know what I mean? Now this guy, this is the one I wanted. when they sent me the offer to do a review, I showed my fiance, and I'm willing to bet after this I'm never going to see this again because it's going to be permanently in her purse. This is the Warrior Mini in titanium in the Spring 2 color. And I am a sucker for all things rainbow finished, like the titanium nitrided coatings that have this kind of, I don't want to call it a flip-flop, but it's just that cool, crazy, metallic rainbow color. One of my favorite things. I don't know why. It just calls to me. And it's titanium. I'm a sucker for that kind of crap. And this thing, beautiful light. One of the most important aspects of any light is having it go dim enough that you don't blind yourself or anybody that you're aiming it at while you're just trying to look at something on a piece of paper or just trying to look at something up close. The direct access, which is basically not even a 2-second press, gets you into its Moonlight mode. And then you have the multiple stages in between it, and then you have the turbo. Now the turbo can be accessed from the tail switch or the double tapping of the little rubber switch up front. Do be warned, just like any high output flashlight, these things heat up. You do not want to be holding anywhere around here after the turbo mode's been on for a minute. Now, it's going to heat cycle down to a lower lumen level. Lower lumen level. Say that 5 times fast. To protect itself. But in that process, it's going to get scorching hot. Not as hot as this thing, which I could melt plastic with. And this is one of the most impressive lights I've ever used. 3,500 lumens, almost 180 degree beam pattern. It can light up a whole baseball field sitting on home plate. And this sucker gets hot enough to melt plastic. And I found another cool use for it, where if you see how it's got some soft plastic up here, when I pour plastic baits, like this guy here, I like to heat up my molds. Traditionally, I would have used a butane torch or anything that can, a constant flame to heat up my molds before I pour the plastic. Now I just put this thing in turbo mode, and that's good enough. So I don't have to waste butane anymore. It's a win-win. So this thing, you'll see how bright it is in the upcoming clip. Beautiful light, beautifully finished. They have, I think, 5 different colors, and the pricing on these things is just ridiculous. It comes with an 18650 battery, the magnetic charger for the tail cap, so you don't ever have to take it or open it up, and boom, you're good to go. This is a nice thing. This is a really nice thing. I'm not saying that because the company sends me free stuff. If you saw my community page, I got a little ticked off when all of a sudden out of the blue I got a package in the mail and they assumed I wanted to review on it, and I was like, no, I'm not interested in this stuff. I'm not going to be able to put it to use. So this is a nice thing. Just putting it out there. If you like nice things, you like that. Now, the Perrin 2, they sent me this go around. They sent me the Perrin Mini in the past, and like I said before, you guys know when you need a light, right? This thing here, magnetic base that can support its own weight pretty much at any angle. I wish I had this available to me back when I owned my audio video business and, did custom home theaters and wire management and low voltage stuff, because I'm always working around racks, these metal racks, and you have bird nests and, pasta dishes of horribly managed insert type of cable here. Low voltage speaker wire, HDMI cables, Cat 5, Cat 6, you name it, it's a mess. And I always get a kick out of whenever I see somebody send me a picture of a wiring job that looks like somebody just took all the wire that they scrapped from a previous job and just threw it in the back. And trying to make heads or tails and wire trace was always the pain, because you had a headlamp and you always had to make sure you can see what you're doing. This thing, if you're an electrician, if you're a plumber, HVAC, you want this. It's bright as all hell. So if you got to look up into a ceiling in a warehouse, if you're doing commercial lighting, if you're a plumber and you got to look down, a bay and see, what lines are run where. If you're up in a vent duct and you got to shoot a long way, it has the beam power for it, and it has a sensor to go from max to not blind the crap out of you, which is another bonus. So when you're in a tight confined space, It's automatically going to register that you're in such a situation and kick it down a notch, all while being magnetically adhered to your AV rack, your duct work, your pipe. Really cool light, and it has my favorite kind of headlamp mount, these silicone based. I have some night cores that use this. This is the best way to go about it. Slide it in and it just rotates smoothly and at any angle that you want. You're not restricted by anything mechanical telling you what angle to run it at. Really nice mount, good quality. And the elastic is a little bit heavier than what you're accustomed to seeing in some of the cheapo lights. Like, this is some good stuff right here. It's really soft. This if you're in the trade, you're going to want this. And if you want something smaller, you have this guy here. Essentially the same light minus the sensor. Much lower runtime due to the capacity of the battery. Both of these are magnetically rechargeable, so you never have to open up the light. Just plug it into a USB outlet, and then boom, just get it close. You get in your car when you're done for the day working, boom, charge it. It's done. Incredibly bright, 2,500 lumens. It comes with a 21700 battery that's rated, I think, at 4,000 milliamp hours. A little bit smaller capacity, same size footprint battery. The other batteries like this are 5,000 milliamp. Is it going to translate into much of a loss? No. This guy here, smaller capacity, peak brightness is 1,000 lumens. Peak brightness on this is 2,500, which is more than I think any other headlamp on the market, if I'm being honest. My primary go-to daily driving headlamp when I'm on the water is the Nitecore HC90. I need, for up-close work, color light that will not affect my night vision. I have very poor eyes. My night vision is bad enough as is at night. It takes me a while, once I do get blasted with white light, for my night vision to readjust again. So I will not be using this when I'm out fishing at night, unfortunately. I really wish at some point in time they have a secondary emitter or a pair of secondary emitters that are directly accessible and red. I don't care about green. I don't care about blue. Red. Because me. And, if you like nice things, it's like getting your new, Galaxy or Note or Apple or insert whatever phone brand you're with. The packaging is really nice. I'm not a packaging guy. I'm not a packaging nerd. I do like nice things, and the experience of unboxing a flashlight, even though they're free and they sent it to me to review and to convince you guys to buy, it's a little over the top. I've bought almost, I think, eight Nitecore lights. They're not like this. And at the same time, when you go to their website, compare Nitecore's website to Olight's website. Like, maybe it's just me, but whenever I go to Nitecore, I feel like I'm gearing up to go on a military mission. When I go to Olight, it's like, oh, this is nice. This is relaxing. It's all bright and colorful and cheery. And then you go to Nitecore, and it's like, yeah, let's get this stuff done, guys. You teach you so. I like comparing those kind of things when you look at product presentation and web presentation, all the kind of stuff they build into their marketing campaigns. I always get a kick out of that. Nitecore makes great lights. Olight makes great lights. And this is another one. This is their long distance light they sent me. It's more of a pencil beam. It's not a super high powered LED emitter. It only is capable of putting out, I think it's 1,100 lumens or something along those lines. But the reflector focuses that beam so it can go off in a long distance. And with that being said, I've been begging them to send me a Marauder 2. They won't send it to me. If you guys buy enough lights that will allow me to buy the Marauder 2, with the commissions there, and I'm just going to parlay those commissions into a Marauder 2, because it's just too cool. I don't know what I'm going to use it for. I just have a desire to light up a perfect square at 800 or 1,000 yards. I just want to be able to do that. Like, stand on one side of the lake and just boom, it's like a TV on the other side. Like, that's the beam pattern of its long range. And you can adjust it to be a floodlight. I like the mechanics of the tail cap, where it's got the like Star Trek type of iris to open up to protect the USB ports so no contaminants get in. I really want that. It's completely unnecessary. I think they designed it specifically for the guys on the Flashaholic forums, like, what is it, candle power, budget light forms, all that kind of stuff. I think that light is designed to attract their attention. But yeah. So, with that being said, I'll show you guys some beam patterns, show you how these lights work at night. And yeah, check out these on their website. They have gray, they have a copper, they have all sorts of stuff. Beautiful lights, beautiful presentation, very functional, very good quality. And it goes without saying, guys, I appreciate you guys showing up here. I know this is more or less a commercial for these guys, but if it weren't good product, I wouldn't even put out a video. I'd be like, all right, guys, stop sending me stuff. I'm done. You guys, but that's not the case. They make a good quality product. And again, if you like nice things, I consider these nice things. So, enjoy the beautiful beam footage. Starting off, we're going to go ahead and fire up the Warrior X Turbo, just to give you an idea of how long this trail goes. Pretty powerful beam. You can see there's some humidity, a little bit of mist in the air, blocking some of that light all the way down. And again, this is the Warrior X Turbo, 1100 lumens, extreme long range. I'm going to go ahead now and grab the Warrior X Mini in its turbo mode. Extremely bright, excellent range, fairly wide. This is your ideal going for a walk with the dog kind of light. We're going to go ahead now and cycle the brightnesses. This is its standard lowest brightness. There's one lower called the Moonlight. So we have this here, which is a nice faint glow. Now from the second lowest mode, if we want to go into the true lowest, power the light off, hold for 2 seconds. Now you're in its Moonlight mode, which is a faint glow. You're probably not even going to see it show up on the camera out in front. Beauty of this, has a permanent memory until you hold the button for 2 seconds again, or if you're in this mode, you can hold it down and cycle through the other brightness modes, or just go right to turbo. If you start off in the Moonlight mode, you can hit the tail switch, go right to turbo, and then hit the rubber button. Now you're back to Moonlight mode. So you can keep this essentially in this mode permanently if you just want up close work or max. Pretty cool little feature. Next up we have the Perrin 2, which is the bigger, badder version of the Perrin. It's a headlamp, it's a right angle light. This is it in its turbo mode. Compared to the Warrior in its turbo mode, you can see a little bit wider beam pattern, a little bit brighter overall. Also higher capacity. Another bonus with this light is if you're in its brightest setting, it has a proximity sensor that knocks it down so you don't blind yourself in case you're working in tight quarters, but that's on you. We're going to go ahead now and cycle through. Starting with its Moonlight setting, with the light off, hold the button down for 2 seconds. I'm going to go ahead now and cycle to the next setting up. One more up. And back down. And then the Moonlight setting. Back to turbo. This is a very, very bright headlamp. I'm going to get this out of the way, and this is the Nitecore HC90. Nitecore HC90, Perrin 2. Nitecore HC90, Perrin 2. Significant difference. Next up, we have the i5 EOS in Camo. This is the low setting. This is the highest setting. Once again, low setting. And its brightest setting. Now we'll compare the i5 EOS at its brightest setting to the Warrior Mini. Next up we have the i5 EOS UV lamp, 365 nanometer unfiltered. So it's going to give off quite a bit of its natural light full spectrum of 365. And down in front we have a fishing rod with fluorescent wraps, and it's spooled with Power Pro Moonshine, which is a fluorescent braided fishing line. And it lights it up pretty good. I can see that line, might not show up on camera, but I can see the line about 30 feet from where I'm standing. Next up, we're going to compare another 365 nanometer UV lamp. This one's the Alone Fire. It's an 18650 powered light. It also has the filter. And this is the i5 EOS. Starting off with the EOS, and then we have the Alone Fire. You can see the Alone Fire on the right doesn't have an actual visible light that the camera's picking up on the ground out in front. The Alone Fire is a little bit brighter. It's also operating on a 18650 lithium ion battery. It's also a little bit larger. Now last but not least we have my favorite, the Seeker 2 Pro, 3500 lumens of light up everything within 165 degrees of where you're standing like it's daylight. What a wonderful little handheld torch this thing is. Comparing it to the Perrin, very similar in size. You have the i5. And the Warrior Mini, which, I'll tell you what, this is a heavy lamp. This is fairly heavy for its size. It's got a lot of juice, big battery, big heavy battery. If you don't need that massive radius of sunlight when you're walking, nothing wrong with the 18650 powered Warrior. The Mini is beautiful. Plus it has that titanium housing. Super compact, really cool. This is the Spring 2 finish. Kind of like a rainbow titanium. But yeah, that about sums it up.